right, Mike Vande, the great Mike Vande. This is awesome having him here. 1990 grad from Jefferson here, Mike. One of the all-time greats. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Great to be back in the gym.
Yeah, so let's start with that. What is it? What are your thoughts? What are your memories? What are your feelings when you walk into this gym?
You know what? It's a great sense of pride, you know, playing with friends throughout high school and having a lot of success and following in some, you know, great success along the way before us with multiple state championships, and, you know, just being around your high school friends and working hard and putting the blood, sweat, and tears in, and being a program that you can be proud of. And we won a bunch of games and we had a heck of a year, and man, it just feels great.
Are you still pretty close buddies with your high school comrades?
I'm good friends with many of them, yes. Stay in touch, text, social media. I see them when I come to town. My parents still live here, and I get a chance to see them, you know, quite often. Some of them live all over the place. One of them lives in China. One of them lives as a doctor.
Is that Irvin that lives in China?
Brent Irvin lives in China. He's part of the 10 Cent Company. Scott Cole's a doctor in La Crosse. Right. Jonathan Carter lives here. He's been very successful. James Redden lives in town here, very successful. Dave Cicchini is a Division I college football coach. So the kids that we had on that team that year have been amazing people and successful in their life, which is really cool.
I remember my dad, I don't know if it was Jack or my dad, Jake, talking about how smart of a team you guys were. Especially your senior year. Like, I know John Carter's like an engineer. And Brent Irvin, you know, like he speaks Mandarin.
Yes.
Lives in, you know, talk about that part.
You know what? I think that was a big key to our success. We had really smart kids that knew what it takes to win basketball games, and obviously with some great coaching along the way, just playing hard and having that understanding of the game, I think made a big difference. I want to say man, I'm not sure anybody ever got a B on the team. Like, it wouldn't shock me if our GPA was like 4.0. It definitely was like 3.7, 3.8. Like, it was amazing the quality of kid that we had those couple years I was here.
Probably brought you down there.
Cheers brought it down.
All right, so Mike, we're gonna throw a couple. I'm gonna give you kind of a term or something, and it's gonna kind of apply to the Jefferson program, and just kind of go off and say what you want about it. Do you think there was I'll start it this way. From 1975 to 1987, that's 12 years. Jefferson made the state boys basketball tournament 7 times, playing in the toughest conference in the state, not even close, toughest sectional in the state, getting there that many times, winning 4 state championships. So basically you're winning a state title every 3 years during that period of time. And you were a young player during those years. So talk about the aura of the program when you were growing up, because you were obviously witnessing a lot of this success when you were a kid. So was there a aura about this program at Jefferson?
Absolutely. I think everybody thought it was the best program in the country, and it was proving it year in and year out. And coming to the games as a little kid, just seeing the success and just knowing you were going to have that same opportunity when you got here, I think was really something that people, you know, looked forward to and really cared about, and understood the, you know, tradition that, you know, Coach Evans and Coach Lynch had brought amongst the years, and just dominating the league, dominating the state in basketball was just what Jefferson did, and we expected nothing less when we got there, and I think it drove us to want to be a part of that success story.
Do you think other players around the state, guys that you knew and played against, kind of felt that as well, the aura of this program?
You know, I have no idea what other people thought, but there's no way you could miss Jefferson being as successful as they were. You know, state titles, going to the state tournament year after year, having the great players that they had, and just, you know, I was always proud to say, hey, I played at Bloomington Jefferson. Absolutely. I'm still to this day, I say, hey, I grew up, went to school at Bloomington Jefferson. And everybody knows it. Everybody that knows it. I've been in the NBA for 20 years. I was a college coach for a long time. Anytime I talk to these college people and I say I went to Bloomington Jefferson, everybody knows what Bloomington Jefferson is.
I wanted to
Yeah, go ahead.
chime in on the aura thing a little bit. Talk about quickly just your evolution as a player from 9th grade to your senior year, because your game really elevated. I think you grew a lot.
Yeah.
Can you quickly tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we were fortunate enough to get the same group of kids together in 6th grade, and we all started playing together in really in 6th grade, and it was all Jefferson kids. I want to say there was 9 of us at the time, and we lost a lot more games than we won in 6th grade. Kind of won half of our games in 7th grade, starting getting good in 8th grade, and then really were one of the best teams at that level in 9th grade. And I actually was really tall when I was younger. And then I wasn't that tall in 8th and 9th grade. I was only about 5'8", 5'9", and then I blew up from 8th grade to 10th grade to about 6'5". And that's when my game kind of came into its own. And I was fortunate enough, and everybody knows the game of basketball, your size and athleticism kind of determines how good a player you can become. You know, your skill set's obviously important. Your talent, your understanding of the game, but size and athleticism drives, basketball at any level. And I was fortunate, to go to be 6'7", maybe 6'8"-ish. And that's when my game came through, is when I joined, as a sophomore, I joined the varsity team and had an opportunity to start practicing with those guys. And the teams that were above me when I was a sophomore were just average. My junior year, we were pretty solid. And then my senior year, when that group finally all got together that had been playing for so long together, just really came into its own and had a great year.
Talk about the preparation that the coaches had for you. You guys always, that's Jack Evans and Jake Lynch right there, is always prepared. Practices were very important.
Yes.
What are your memories of the practices and always being prepared for whoever you got next?
When you're a 9th, 10th, 11th grader, you don't know what any other program's really doing. So it wasn't strange to me with what we did. That's the only way I knew. And I think being past that point, looking back, I think you realize what a great coach Coach Evans was, and what a great staff having your dad involved, being his assistant coach was. And then having Coach Evans' son run the sophomore team. We were prepared night in and night out. We knew exactly what we were going to do in our 2-3 zone, and we ran it really, really, really well. Practices were intense. Practices were tough, very demanding, which is exactly what kids need, and I think what kids want. They want somebody who pushes you to be the best you can be. They want somebody who is disciplined and has a philosophy and runs things the right way. He treats kids the way they should be treated off the court and on the court, but he demands every moment that you step on the court for you to be your best. And I think that's, a big reason why the success of Jefferson has been throughout his whole career.
I think my dad told me this at some point, that I don't even know how long it was. It was a stretch of close to 20 years, maybe from 70 when the school opened to about 90 when you were a senior, that Jefferson, this is hard to believe, Jefferson did not lose a third state tournament game for like 20 years. So you guys won consolation.
Yes.
We'll get into that.
Yes.
But from 75, they took the consolation championship. Then the state championships, you're winning that third game of the state tournament.
Right.
So it's basically the third game of a 3-day tournament.
Yes.
And they went undefeated in about 20 years.
That's amazing.
In the third game because they were always prepared.
Yeah.
And they were in great shape at the same time. That's pretty phenomenal that you're playing that well against the best competition in the state. And that's just a testament to, how they would practice, how they'd prepare you, and the type of shape that they were in.
Absolutely. I wasn't at other high school programs, but our program worked hard. We worked the right way. We were disciplined, and we got after it. And I think that's a testament to, it's not easy to play 3 games in 3 days. It's not easy to be at your best that second day and that third day, especially when you hardly ever do that. It's the same thing in college basketball. They play these tournaments, and they have 3 days in a row, and usually the most athletic team, is winning that third day, not the most disciplined team.
Right.
But it goes to show, how much work and effort was put in on a daily basis to be prepared to play, 3 games in a row and be successful.
Next one. The coaching staff, and not just with Jack, Jake, but it's with Jeff as well now, it's, for 50 years, just talk about their commitment to the community.
Yeah.
Meaning the commitment to the Jefferson kids. You win or lose with Jefferson kids.
Absolutely. It's pretty phenomenal to say, from the start of the program, you've had a father and son as the only 2 head coaches. That's just amazing. It's absolutely mind-boggling to really think how long it's been that way, and to have the success that they've had, year in and year out, is just an amazing accomplishment. They're not out recruiting. They're not out trying to get kids to move into town. It's just, hey, whatever we got, we're going to war with. And whatever talent we have, we're going to make the best of it. And some years, obviously, you have better years than others. Some years you win a state championship. Some years you come up short. And some years you don't win as many games as you want. But they have been a part of this community as long as I can remember. I'm 47 years old, and I've known nothing.
Half a century.
Yeah. I've known nothing else except the Evans and Jefferson basketball, and that's pretty amazing thing. I can't think of anybody else probably anywhere in the country that has that same synergy of father to son for 40, 50 years.
Yeah, and Jeff's got a great philosophy now, and Jack, he got this from his dad, no question, but his philosophy is, I'd rather lose with my own players than win with somebody else's.
Absolutely.
And you've been in the high levels of basketball for a long time. You played and you were a scout for Philadelphia, but just the desire to win, do whatever it takes to win, and bring kids in and recruit, even though you got kids in that community that have come up through the youth program. And winning or losing with the kids that have come through, and rewarding kids and seniors once they get to the varsity level. Yeah,
it's you start them when they're young, and you have them come to your camps, years and years and years, and you work with what you got. And some years, and I see it in the NBA level, watching some of these high school kids. Some teams and programs just have more talent some years than others. And there's something to be said about having a great year with maybe not the most talent, and they've obviously had that success along the way, and it's just a testament to wanting to be here. They could have moved on to other programs, they could have moved on to other situations, but they wanted to be here, and that's why we love the fact that we've been a part of the program, and we can call those 2 friends.
All right, switching gears a little bit, talk about, and I think you've talked about a little bit here in the last few minutes, but just like the consistency and the continuity of having, like you said, 2 coaches in basically 50 years, and it's a father-son combo.
Well, I think, if you have a situation in place or a system in place that the coaches at younger levels can follow, I think that makes a big difference. If your 7th grade coach knows what he's getting into, if your 8th grade coach at middle school knows what he's getting into, your 9th and 10th grade coaches are coaching some of the same ways that your varsity coach is coaching. I think that just creates a continuity and a consistency, so these kids know what they're getting into. The kids know what type of offense they're going to run. The kids know what kind of defense they're going to run. And it creates a familiarity with the program that you can, sit down and say, I know this is what we're going to be good at. I know this is what we're going to do, and let's go out and try to do it the best we can. There's a lot of ways to win basketball games. You can run a zone. You can run a man-to-man. You can run a fast break offense. You can run a spread offense. But any of those offenses will work if you have the dedication to run it the right way, be quality teammates, and play extremely hard. And we walked into this program at Jefferson. We knew what we were getting into. We knew what was expected of us over the course of many years, and we came out here and did the best we could to try to execute and win basketball games.
Being in the NBA and then playing at a high level in college, now we're seeing acceleration is so important. The parents or the kids want to reclassify, get out of high school now, or they
Yeah.
want to
In a hurry.
from high school to the NBA.
Yeah.
Do you see a point of that people don't realize what the kids are missing?
I do think they're missing a lot. And this might be a tangent for the video. I do think they're missing a lot. This is a whole philosophical talk. But if somebody said to your son, here's $10 million to go work at IBM when you're 19 years old, I'd tell my son every day of the week, you better go take that job. So although that might not be exactly the greatest thing, like you can't turn down those opportunities. Professional tennis players are going to tennis academies at 14 years old. Soccer players in Europe are getting signed at 14 years old. If you're that talented and that good and you have a chance to make 10, 20, 100, now $200 million, your finite window of being a professional is only 10 years, 12 years if you're lucky. If somebody called my son from Microsoft and said, here's $10 million, I know you're only 18, I would tell him to take that job as fast as possible. So, I don't know, that's a whole philosophical talk, but.
All right, let's move on to kind of the family feel that you got here when you were playing. You're still buddies with your high school friends to this day. The family feel, the togetherness, the teamwork that was promoted by the coaching staff. Just kind of talk about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, one of the things that I remember a lot and think about a lot is the night before every game, our team got together and we did a spaghetti dinner at one of the parents' houses. We switched off every home game. I want to say it might have even been every road game. I don't remember 100%, but before every game, one of the parents would have a spaghetti dinner and we would all get together and we were all best friends. That was what was so cool about it. I don't know if there's a lot of programs throughout the years where everybody gets along and everybody's not fighting for playing time and everybody's complaining that, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. We had a bunch of kids that just loved playing together, loved being friends, played video games, when we weren't playing basketball. We were all playing football or soccer when we weren't playing basketball together. It was just a great family atmosphere, and obviously that starts at the top, and Coach Evans having his son be the sophomore coach, and Coach Lynch, and obviously you playing here and your brothers playing here. It's been a tradition to have family involved. My nephew played here for many years and had success. My parents still live in the community. My sister and her husband live in the community. So everything about Bloomington Jefferson has always been family and community to me.
And it showed on the floor too, how you guys played, especially your senior year. You guys had great teamwork.
Absolutely. We had been playing since we were in 6th grade together. We knew what we were doing. I was the tallest guy, and they threw me the ball, and I hoped I passed it back out just enough to keep them happy. And
is that true? You were there.
And we had some good players that played with me. It was great, and we actually had some size. A couple other guys that were 6'6", 6'7", and a couple really good shooters, and a couple great defenders, and we just meshed well. We all knew our role. We had one or two guys that could really shoot. We had one or two guards that couldn't shoot, but man, they could defend. We had me in the middle. We had a couple other big guys that, could rebound and just play great defense. So it really meshed well, and that comes from being great friends off the court.
Talk about